In this recording, we're going to look at the topic direct proportion and inverse proportion. This is a higher level topic, so only watch it if you're doing the higher exam. Okay, so we're going to look at just direct proportion and inverse proportion to begin with. And we'll look at two examples, I'll set you some questions, then we'll look at direct and inverse proportion with squares and cubes. Okay, so A is directly proportional to B. Make sure you show each stage you're working out because it's going to help you answer the other questions. So we start with A is proportional to B, A equals KB. So A and B are variables that change. K is your constant of proportionality and that stays the same. Now we want to know what this K is, and you're always given some information to work out K. So we're told here A is when A is 12, B is 3. So I'm going to substitute that into the equation here. What is K? Well, let's make K the subject, divide both sides by 3, and you get K is 4. So that's your constant proportionality. Write a formula of A in terms of B. So I'm going to substitute that K back into here. A equals 4B. So can you see we've got our formula of A in terms of B. Now we can use that formula to work out B and C. So B is we're finding A when B is 5. We know A equals 4B. So A is 4 times 5. A is 20. Now for C, this time we're given A. We want to work out B. A is 4B. A is equal to 4B. A is 36. Divide both sides by 4 to make B a subject. B is 9. Okay, now with direct proportion, what you find is when B increases, A increases too. For inverse proportion, as one of your variables increase, the other decreases. That's the difference between direct and inverse proportion. Inverse proportion, T is inversely proportional to N. So you always write that with this equation, first of all, which is the same as T is equal to K over N. When T is 30, N is 5. Again, we have our constant of proportionality here, which is K. How do you make K the subject? Times both sides by 5, so K is 150. So what's our formula? Well, we need to put that back into there. Now we know our K. So because K is 150, T equals 150 over N. That's your answer to part A. Now we're going to use that formula to get our answer for part B, part C. Let's just write out the formula first. Part A, we're told that N is 10. So I put it into that formula, but replace N for 10. 150 divided by 10 is 15, so T is 15. This time we're told T, so it's slightly different in the way we rearrange our formula. Don't want N at the bottom, so I'm going to times both sides by N. So 25 times N equals 150. Times this side by N, it disappears, so I need to times that side by N. Divide both sides by 25. The N is 6. Okay, so have a go at these 6 questions, please. Once you're done, put me on pause. Once you're done, I'll go through the answers, and then we'll extend this topic slightly. Okay, so I'll just go through these answers now. Divide both sides by 5. K is 25. So your formula, C equals 25D. So for C, 25 times 10, 250. This time we know C is 75. How do we get D? Divide both sides by 25, gives you D is 3. Sometimes you're given your information in the table, but it's the same thing. Y is directly proportional to X. Y equals KX. We can use, because we know here your X and your Y, you can use that to get your K. Divide both sides by 12, K is 6. So now Y equals 6X. 9 times 6, 54. 4 times 6, 24. So here we know T is directly proportional to Y. T equals KY. When T is 180, Y is 4. Get your K, divide both sides by 4. K is 45. So what's your formula? T equals 45Y. T equals 45Y. We know Y is 3, so 45 times 3. T is 135. This time we know our T. Divide both sides by 45. Y is 13. Okay, let's look at the inverse proportion questions now. When W is 40, F is 12. 40 times 12, K is 480. What's your formula? W equals 480 over F. There's our formula, part A. Part B, find the value of W when F is 60. We just put that straight in our formula. No rearranging needs to happen. W is 8. We're going to use this information this time to get our K. So 10 equals K over 8. Times both sides by 8. K is 80. So put it into there. This is our formula. Y equals 80 divided by X. So for your first bit in the column of your table here, we know X is 16. 80 divided by 16 is 5. This one, I might do that over here, sorry. Just to finish off this question. We know that Y is 20 this time, so 20 equals K of X. Times both sides by X. Oh, sorry, we know K, don't we? K is 80. So put it in the wrong formula there. That should have been 80. Just change that. How do we get X? Divide both sides by 20. So X is 4. Okay, this time V is inversely proportional to P. V equals K over P. We've got 200,000 pascals. K over 6. Times both sides by 6. 120, so 1,200,000 is our K. So our equation, sorry, let me just write this in small here, is V equals 1,200,000 over P. Part B, let's write out our formula. For this one, we know pressure, so we know P. So V equals 1,200,000 divided by 150,000. It's 8. And then for this last one, at this time we know V. V equals 1,200,000 over P. So just think carefully how you're going to rearrange this formula. Times both sides by P first. So 20, or P times 20. Sorry, just trying to fit all this in. 1,200,000. To get P, we need 1,200,000 divided by 20. P is 60,000. Okay, so we're going to look at some slightly more complicated examples now when we're dealing with inverse and direct proportion with squares and cubes. Y is directly proportional to the square of x. So square of x means x squared. Same idea, instead of x, we need x squared though. Let's put our information in to get k. Don't forget we need to write times 4 squared. 4 squared, 16. Make k the subject, divide both sides by 16, k is 0.4. So y equals 0.4 x squared. We know for part B, we know x is 8. So y is 0.4 times 8 squared. Just type it straight in your calculator or work out 8 squared first is 64, times by 0.4 is 25.6. And for C, we know y this time. So you've got to be a bit more careful here. A little bit more complicated to rearrange. Make it x subject. So first of all, we need to get rid of your 0.4, divide both sides by 0.4, gives you 196 equal x squared. How do we make x a subject? Square both sides, square root both sides, opposite of squaring. Square root 196, you get 14. Square root x squared is just x, so x is 14. So y is inversely proportional this time to the square of x, or x squared. Those are our values. We know y equals k over x squared. When y is 200, x is 2. 2 squared is 4. So to get k times both sides by 4, k is 800. We need to put it back into our formula. I'll put it back into here to get our equation connecting y and x. Y equals 800 over x squared. Part B. Work out the value of y when x is 5. We know y is 180 over x squared. X is 5, so it's just 180 over 5 squared. 5 squared is 25, 800 over 25, y is 32. And part C. Part C, 50 equals 800 over x squared, times both sides by x squared, so 50x squared equals 800. Divide both sides by 50, so x squared is 16. Square root both sides, x is 4. Okay. Have a go at these questions. Unpause when you're finished, and I'll go through the answers. I've just noticed question 1 is exactly the same as the example. You should have got y equals 0.4x squared. B, y is 25.6. And C, x is 14. Okay, question 2. W is directly proportional to p cubed. W equals kp cubed. When W is 32, P is 2. 2 cubed is 8. Divide both sides by 8. K is 4. Express W in terms of P. W equals 4p cubed. Part B. Well, we now know W equals 4p cubed. What's the value of W and P is 4? So we need to work out 4 times 4 cubed. 4 cubed is 64, times 4 is 256. Part C. Work out the value of x when z is 8. No. Work out the value of P when W is 4,000. 4,000 equals 4p cubed. Divide both sides by 4. 1,000 equals p cubed. Cube root both sides. 10 equals p. P equals 10. I'm going to put my answer to 3 over here. Z directly proportional to root x. Z equals k root x. When z is 12, x is 36. Square root of 36 is 6. Divide both sides by 6. K is 2. So my equation, z, equals 2 root x. Work out the value of z when x is 121. Square root of 121 is 11. Z is 22. Part C. Work out the value of x and z is 18. 18 equals 2 root x. How do you make x a subject here? We need to get rid of the 2 first. Divide both sides by 2. Just be careful here. The opposite of square rooting is square, and you need to square both sides. It's 81 equals x. Okay, just to finish off, let's look at these 3 inverse proportional questions. Question 4. A is inversely proportional to b squared. Square of b means b squared. A equals k over b squared. When a is 2, b is 3. 3 squared is 9, times both sides by 9. So k equals 18. So what's your formula? So it doesn't ask us for a formula. We kind of need it to work out anything else. A equals 18 over b squared. Find the value of a when b is 2. Two squared is 4. 18 divided by 4, 4.5. Question 5. W inversely proportional to square root of b. W equals k over root b. When w is 9, when b is 9, w is 9. Don't forget we need to root b or root 9. Root 9 is 3. 9 equals k over 3. Times both sides by 3. K is 27. So what's our formula? W equals 27 over root b. Part B. Work out the value of W when B equals 4. It's just 27 over root 4. Root 4 is 2. 27 over 2. W is 13.5. Part C, work out the value of b when w is 1. 1 equals 27 over root b. We need to times both sides by root b first. 1 times root b is just root b. Root b is 27. How do you make b the subject? Square both sides. The b equals 729. Question 6. T is inversely proportional to the cube of L. T equals k over L cubed. When L is 0.2, T is 5. So 5 equals k over 0.2 cubed. So to get k, we need to do 5 times 0.2 cubed. Forget you cube your 0.2 before you times it by your 5, which gives us k is 0.04. So our formula is T equals 0.04 over L cubed. B, work out the value of T when L is 0.5. T equals 0.04 over L cubed. L is 0.5. Let's just type that straight into our calculator. 0.04 divided by 0.5 power 3, 0.32. And your part C. This time we know T times both sides by L cubed. Divide both sides by 2. So I've not actually divided by 2, sorry. And then now we need to cube root both sides. Give us L is 0.27 to 2 decimal places. Okay, thanks for listening.